Incredible twist. Poor girl saves billionaire's son from poisoning. Heartwarming story revealed. Emma wiped her brow, the humid Indiana air heavy around her as she ladled soup into bowls at the local soup kitchen. The intoxicating aroma of warm broth and freshly baked bread filled the room, but it was the stories shared and laughter exchanged that made Emma's heart swell. She was used to this routine, navigating her role under the watchful gazes of neighbors who felt more like family than just acquaintances. Yet, on that rainy afternoon, everything changed. "Let me help you with that." A smooth voice broke through the chaos, and Emma looked up to see a boy about her age, casually stylish despite the grime in the air. Tyler, the charming son of a billionaire, had stepped across a threshold she never imagined he would share with someone like her. As they worked side by side, tossing back friendly banter, something inside Emma began to shift. Tyler spoke of his family's lavish plans while she shared the realities of her life, the struggles her mother faced, juggling 2 jobs to scrape by. Their worlds were galaxies apart, yet in that cramped kitchen, they felt oddly aligned. She caught the soft vulnerability behind Tyler's confident facade as they exchanged stories. His laughter felt liberating, freeing her from the weight of modesty. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Just as their friendship started to blossom, chaos erupted at the grand charity gala that Tyler's family hosted later that week. Music blared, laughter filled the air, but then screams pierced the atmosphere. Mid-dance, Tyler collapsed. A wave of panic washed over Emma as she fought her way through the throng of onlookers, her heart racing like a startled rabbit. "Tyler!" she screamed, rushing to his side. He was pale, eyes fluttering. The room buzzed with whispers, questions tainted with intrigue. Emma felt a surge of protectiveness wash over her. How could anyone harm him? The cocktail of uncertainty and fear clenched her chest. Authorities gathered amidst the overwhelming crowd, raising the stakes as accusations fluttered around his family like moths to a flame. Emma realized that unraveling Tyler's plight meant delving into secrets that cut deeper than anyone could have anticipated. She stood between 2 worlds, the harsh honesty of her upbringing and the gilded facade that hung around Tyler's life. In the days that followed, Emma dug deeper, determined to shield her new friend from danger. As dark truths appeared, revealing hidden fractures and resentments within Tyler's wealthy family, Emma found herself fighting against not only a physical threat but an emotional chasm between them. Could she bridge that divide? At that moment, with shadows creeping closer and whispers threatening to drown her resolve, Emma clutched a crucial clue in her palm, a beacon of hope hidden under layers of deception. Will she step into the darkness, straining against her fears, to protect Tyler and herself? The unknown stretched before her, a tantalizing mix of risk and determination making her heart race. Emma stood on the precipice of something monumental, her heart pounding as she stared at the clue nestled in her palm. It was a small piece of paper, hardly more than a scrap, but it felt electrifying. A name scrawled across it, messy but legible: Ava Lang. She had overheard whispers at the gala, snippets of conversations that hinted at a deeper grudge. Ava was a family friend, but there was more. Emma knew she had to uncover the truth. Every instinct pushed her to dig deeper into the tangled web surrounding Tyler's family. If the stakes were as high as they seemed, not just Tyler's life but her own safety was on the line. With determination fueling her, she made her way to the library that afternoon, a haven of knowledge and refuge. Surrounded by books, she felt less vulnerable. Emma scoured through news articles and old records, piecing together information about Ava Lang. It turned out that she wasn't just a family friend, she was intricately woven into the fabric of Tyler's family legacy. Rumors buzzed around that she had been dating Tyler's older brother, only to be cast aside for what seemed like an unworthy reason. Hours flew by as she pored over pages, her eyes growing heavy but her resolve steadfast. Emma couldn't shake the feeling that Ava harbored resentment over her heartbreak and that any lingering anger might lead to dangerous outcomes. Tyler had to know what she'd found, but she hesitated, visions of their last meeting flooding back. The frantic chaos, the blur of panic, but Tyler's trusting eyes haunted her now, the connection they shared glimmering like a fleeting star. Later that evening, she finally decided to call him. The phone rang and her heart danced nervously in her chest. "Pick up, Tyler," she pleaded silently. And then he answered. "Emma?" His voice was a soothing balm, but beneath it lingered a thread of anxiety. "I found something important about Ava Lang," she said breathlessly, not wasting any time on pleasantries. "Really? What do you mean?" His tone shifted, curiosity mixed with disbelief. Emma took a deep breath. "I think she's involved in what happened at the gala. I think she might want to hurt you." Silence stretched between them, thick and heavy. "What do you mean hurt me?" He sounded incredulous, but she could tell he was listening intently now. "I don't know all the details yet, but something isn't right. You need to be careful," she urged, her chest tightening with urgency. "Are you sure about this?" There was a tremor in his voice, a crack in his confidence. She hesitated for a moment but pressed on. "I have a lead. We can figure this out together." After a beat, he responded, unwavering, "Okay. Let us meet. I trust you, Emma." As she hung up, a rush of warmth enveloped her. For the first time in days, she felt a sense of purpose. Yet with that purpose came a swell of fear. What if Ava was watching? What if they stepped right into a web of danger? Determined, she gathered her thoughts, knowing they were about to dive headfirst into a perilous search for truth. As night descended, shadows danced around her, mirroring the turmoil brewing within her heart. It was a dangerous game they were playing. Emma grabbed her jacket, steeling herself for what lay ahead. She had to protect Tyler, but could she really step into the darkness without losing her way? With a final breath, she stepped out into the night, her heart racing. Would the truth they uncovered bring them closer, or would it tear them apart forever? The streets felt alive with shadows as Emma navigated through the dimly lit path toward the old cafe where she had arranged to meet Tyler. Every rustle of a leaf sent prickles of unease up her spine. She could almost sense eyes on her, watching with intent. Was it paranoia, or was Ava lurking nearby, biding her time? When she arrived, the scent of freshly brewed coffee mixed with the warm, inviting aroma of pastries wafted through the air. It was a cocoon of comfort that made the tension in her shoulders ease just a little. Emma spotted Tyler seated at their usual corner table. He was absently stirring his drink, deep in thought. "Hey," she said, sliding into the seat across from him. The minute she looked into his eyes, she noticed the worry etched between his brows. It made her heart ache for him. "Emma, what did you find out?" "I'm feeling on edge," Tyler said, the edge of his voice taut and anxious. Taking a moment, Emma laid the scrap of paper on the table between them. "This is what I found. Ava Lang, she had a thing with your brother, and when he broke it off, things didn't end well." His jaw tightened, and she could see the gears turning in his mind. "So, you think she could be behind what happened?" "I'm afraid so," Emma replied, her voice lowering. "I picked up on something from the gala. Ava's name kept coming up in conversations, like a ghost from the past. People hinted that there was more to her split with your brother. Feelings left unresolved can turn dangerous, especially if she feels scorned." Tyler's eyes darkened as he absorbed her words. "I have to talk to her. She's been around me too much lately. I don't like it, Emma. If she is angry, we have to be careful." "We should be smarter than that," Emma urged. "Ava could be unpredictable. I mean, what if she tries to, teach you a lesson? You cannot underestimate her." He nodded, his expression softening slightly. "You're right. I can't risk you getting hurt in this. But I want to know why. Why would she act like this? I need to hear it from her." As they sat in silence, watching the world flow outside, Emma felt the heavy weight of their situation. The stakes were rising, and time was running short. She couldn't shake the feeling that their unraveling mystery was about to spiral into chaos. Then, the bell above the cafe door chimed. Emma's heart leapt into her throat as Ava Lang entered, all effortless grace and confidence. Her sharp eyes scanned the room, locking onto Tyler and Emma, a gleam of recognition flickering across her face. Emma. Tyler, she said, her voice dripping with feigned sweetness. Fancy seeing you both here. Emma's pulse quickened. This was at the confrontation. Would they get the answers they sought, or had they become the hunted in a deadly game? Tyler's face hardened, but he didn't flinch. Ava, we need to talk. Suddenly, a sharp pang of dread crept in. Emma grasped the edge of the table for strength. What would emerge from this confrontation? And how far would Ava go to defend her secrets? As defenses were put in place and veils began to lift, Emma couldn't shake the sense that they were standing at the edge of a precipice. A slip could mean disaster, the tension was palpable. Would they uncover the truth, or would Ava's next move send them into a spiraling abyss? Ava took a step closer, her expression a carefully curated blend of confidence and curiosity. You seem tense, Tyler. Is everything okay between us? She asked, her tone sugary, but Emma could hear the underlying menace. Cut the act, Ava, Tyler replied firmly. We both know why we're here. I want to talk about what happened with my brother. You sure seemed happy to see him when he was alive. A flicker of something surprise, maybe crossed Ava's face, quickly masked by a cool indifference. Is this about his tragic end? I didn't think you'd still be bothered by that. It was ages ago. Emma held her breath, waiting for Tyler's response. She could see the muscles in his jaw clenching tightly, wrestling with unspoken words. Lily's death wasn't just an accident, Ava. You know that. His voice dropped, thick with emotion. You were clearly involved. Why weren't you with him that night? For a moment, silence enveloped them, punctuated only by the clinking of coffee mugs and the low murmur of chatter around them. Ava shifted her gaze, her facade shaking. People change, Tyler. Her words came slowly, weighed down by something deeper. You should know that. I didn't mean for things to go wrong. I never wanted any of this. Emma caught a glimpse of vulnerability in Ava's eyes, almost fleeting. Could there be a shred of truth in her twisted sense of remorse? Or was this just a shallow attempt to draw them in, to sow confusion? But you were there. We have witnesses, Ava, Tyler pressed, his frustration bubbling to the surface. Stop trying to play innocent. We know you had a motive. Why would you want to hurt him? Ava's gaze hardened, the mask of sweetness slipping away like a shed skin. You really think you can pin this on me? This isn't just between us two anymore. You have no idea who you're dealing with. I'm not afraid of the truth. I know what I want, and I'll do whatever it takes to get it. Emma felt the air thicken around them, tension crackling like static. She leaned forward, her voice shaking slightly. You think this is about revenge? You don't have to keep running from your past, Ava. You can stay out of this, Emma. Ava shot back, her tone icy. The cafe seemed to quiet as if the world was holding its breath. Emma felt so exposed, but she couldn't back down now. She had come too far. You might want to reconsider. Hurting others will not change what's been done, Ava. Ava's laughter was sharp, brittle. You think I care what you think? You're just a girl with a fancy idea of justice. Tyler interrupted, fists clenching on the table. Enough. If you think you can intimidate us, you're wrong. We're not afraid of you. Ava stepped back, assessing them like they were the pieces on a chessboard. It seems you both are in way over your heads. But I might enjoy watching this little game unfold after all. No one knows my past better than you do. With that, she turned on her heel and walked out, the bell jingling behind her like a warning. Emma exhaled, her heart racing. What just happened? Did you see that look in her eyes? Tyler raked a hand through his hair, brow furrowed in worry. We need to be careful. This isn't over. Whatever game Ava thinks she's playing, we can't play by her rules. Feeling the ground shift beneath them, Emma knew they had crossed a line. A confrontation had just opened a door to secrets layered deeper than they had imagined. The stakes were rising, and the shadows of the past were only just beginning to unearth their hidden truths. "What's our next move?" Emma asked, her voice trembling with apprehension, yet a spark of resolve igniting her spirit. Tyler gripped the edges of the table, the tension radiating off him. "We find out exactly what Ava is hiding, and we expose her, before it's too late." But as they steeled themselves for the battle ahead, neither one could shake the feeling that they were being pulled deeper into a tangled web of danger, and they may not emerge unscathed. What new peril awaited them just around the corner? Emma stared at Tyler, her heart pounding in her chest. The gravity of their situation was sinking in. They had just issued a challenge to Ava, a woman who didn't play by normal rules. "We can't just sit here," Tyler said, breaking the silence. "We need to figure out Ava's next move. She's playing it like a game of chess, and we just put our pawns on the board." Nodding, Emma pushed her unease aside. "We need information. There have to be people who know something about Ava, maybe even her past. I can ask around at school. People love gossip." Tyler's gaze softened for a moment, appreciation shining through. "That's a good idea, but be careful. Ava's not afraid to do whatever it takes to stay in control. We can't let her know we're onto her." Emma's mind raced as she wondered how deep Ava's influence really spread. There had to be some story buried beneath the surface. "What about your brother?" She hesitated, choosing her words carefully. Maybe he had connections that could tie into this? Anyone who might help us figure out what she's hiding? He exhaled slowly, the pain of his brother's death clouding his features. "I don't know if that's possible." Lily she was trying to distance herself from Ava before everything happened. "But maybe we can find her diary or something among her things." "There could be clues," Emma said thoughtfully. The way she wrote might hint at things she couldn't bring herself to say out loud. Tyler's eyes lit up with determination. "Good call. Let us go to her house later. We can look through her stuff. We have to find something before Ava makes her next move." Emma felt a surge of hope. It was a dangerous path, but they were ready to tread it together. As they left the cafe, the air crackled with anticipation, and the world around them began to blur. In the days that followed, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Dark shadows seemed to follow her, and whispers brushed against her skin, hinting at secrets that wanted to rise to the surface. At school, she felt the weight of Ava's reputation hanging in the hallways, a specter that haunted every interaction point. One afternoon, she overheard a group of girls talking about Ava's latest exploits, how she commandeered social events with an iron grip. Emma's stomach clenched at the references to her being untouchable, to never crossing her. But Ava didn't intimidate Emma anymore. If anything, Ava's actions only fueled her fire. She had decided to become a force of her own, not just Tyler's ally but an advocate for truth. When they finally arrived at Lily's house, the moment felt charged with the unknown. As they stepped inside the dimly lit living room, the air was thick with memories, and every item seemed relics from a past littered with unspoken words. "Where do we even start?" Tyler asked, glancing at the boxes stacked haphazardly in the corner. Emma pointed to a small table by the window, where Lily had spent countless hours writing. "That might be a good place to begin." They moved closer, the sun casting golden rays across scattered papers. As Emma reached out, she felt a chill skitter down her spine. Were they ready for what they could uncover? Before she could finish that thought, Tyler's hand landed on something beneath a pile of notebooks. "Emma, look at this." Curiosity surged in her as they unearthed a small, worn journal. The cover was frayed, and it had a familiar scent of nostalgia. As he flipped it open, both their breaths hung in the air. The entries filled Emma with a potent mix of excitement and dread. They were about Ava. They held feelings Lily hadn't been able to express, secrets buried in the ink.as Tyler read aloud. The pieces began to fall into place, and the darkness that enveloped Ava started to crack, letting in streams of light. But just as they were getting closer to the truth, Emma's phone buzzed violently in her pocket. A message etched in urgency rattled her. "You have no idea what you're unraveling. Stop now, or you'll definitely regret it." Her heart sank. Had Ava been watching them? Tyler caught the shift in her expression, his brow furrowing. "What's wrong?" "It's Ava," she whispered, terror pooling in her stomach. "This is bigger than we thought." As uncertainty loomed, the question rang clear in her mind. Could they uncover the truth without falling into Ava's trap? Emma's hands trembled as she clutched the phone, the fear coiling around her like a vice. She glanced at Tyler, who looked equally pale, his expression morphing from determination to worry in an instant. "What does it say?" he pressed, trying to catch a glimpse of her screen. "It's a warning," she managed to say, her voice barely above a whisper. "Ava knows what we're up to. She's telling us to stop." She bit her lip, the weight of the threat hanging in the air between them. "Should we just put the journal back?" Tyler suggested, glancing toward the doorway as if expecting Ava to walk in at any moment. "I mean, maybe it's not worth it." "No," Emma said, shaking her head. "We can't back down now. This is our chance to learn the truth." Tyler looked torn, the inner conflict evident on his face. "What if we're in over our heads? We don't know what she can do." Emma took a deep breath, grounding herself. "But we've already come this far. If Lily saw something, if she wrote something, then we owe it to her to find out what it was." With a nod that didn't quite conceal his unease, Tyler turned back to the journal, flipping through the worn pages until they stopped at a particular entry that caught his eye. "Listen to this," he began, reading slowly. "Ava is not who she appears to be. She's constructed an identity built on manipulation, wrapped in silver-tongued charm. I thought I could befriend her, but now it feels like a game filled with missing pieces. I need to find out why she pushed away everyone she once called friend." Emma's heart raced. There's more to this. There has to be a reason for Ava's behavior. She leaned closer, pulling the journal towards her, wanting to absorb every word. Tyler continued, his voice lower as if he feared the very walls might overhear. "She's starting to scare me, and it feels like no one else sees it. They think she's just great, a queen bee. But it's like she's hiding a parasite beneath her perfect exterior." The last sentence sent shivers down Emma's spine. It was confirmation of everything they had suspected about Ava. "Maybe this is why Lily distanced herself," Emma said, piecing together the fragments in her mind. She knew Ava was dangerous. Their eyes locked, and in that moment, a silent agreement was made. They had to confront what Ava was hiding, no matter the cost. Suddenly, the front door creaked, breaking their focus. Emma's heart stopped. Footsteps shuffled in the hall, and panic surged through her as she exchanged frantic glances with Tyler. "Hide!" he hissed, quickly tossing the journal back onto the table and diving behind a nearby armchair. Emma followed suit, instinctively pressing against the wall, barely breathing. From their concealed spot, they watched as a figure appeared, an older woman, perhaps a family friend or housekeeper. Emma recognized her from the neighborhood, and she began casually collecting items strewn around the room. "You're okay, you're safe," Emma whispered to herself, trying to steady her breath. "Let us wait," Tyler murmured, eyes still on the doorway. As seconds turned into minutes, Emma's mind raced. The sense of time ticking away heightened the fear lurking in the back of her mind. What would happen if they were discovered? And then, like a bell tolling for doom, their phones vibrated in unison. The other message was in her hands. A single word echoed ominously from both screens: "Stop." The realization hit Emma hard. They weren't just recklessly digging through Lily's memory, they were pulling on threads that could unravel everything Ava had built. "What's the plan?" Tyler whispered, the tension coursing through the room thick enough to cut. Before Emma could answer, the sound of a door closing echoed ominously. The house was quiet once again, but the danger felt omnipresent, wrapping around them. "We can't let her intimidate us," Emma urged, her voice low but steady. "We need to get out of here and figure out how to confront her." Tyler nodded slowly, but uncertainty flickered behind his eyes. And if she won to let us? The question hung heavy in the air. What if Ava wouldn't just let them walk away? With a quick glance around the room, Emma's heart thundered in her chest. They might be on a precipice, and all of it could fall apart in a heartbeat. As they camouflaged in the shadows, they knew the stakes were higher than ever. They had to decide, would they pull back and retreat back into safety, or would they step into Ava's dangerous game for the chance to uncover the truth? Emma's mind whirled as she clutched her phone tighter. The darkness surrounding them felt heavier, teetering on the edge of something unforgivable. Are we in this together? She asked quietly, fear and determination vying for space in her heart. Tyler met her gaze, and in that moment, she felt a flicker of hope. But hope often walks hand in hand with peril. What lay ahead? What amazing truths awaited them, and could they survive the storm that was sure to follow? Emma's heart raced as she steadied her breath, the fear of discovery pressing down on her like an invisible weight. She glanced at Tyler, whose face was a canvas of anxiety and resolve. This was not just about uncovering Ava's secrets anymore, it was about their freedom, and maybe even their safety. Okay, she whispered, her voice firm despite the trembling in her heart. We get to the door. We leave the journal. If Ava knows we're here, confronting her with evidence might provoke her. Tyler's brow furrowed. But what if we can't just walk away? What if she's waiting for us to make a move? With one glance at the stairs leading to the second floor, Emma felt the urgency turning to clarity. We have to take that risk. Stay close. As they started to inch toward the exit, she felt each heartbeat echo in her ears. They paused at the threshold of the living room, straining to listen for any sign of Ava's presence. The house was eerily quiet, as if holding its breath. Just as Emma nudged the door open a crack, a loud creak resonated through the hall, followed by footsteps that made her freeze. It felt as if time had stopped. She looked at Tyler, whose eyes were wide with panic. They fell silent, their breath stolen by the heavy tension in the air. The footsteps grew closer. Emma could see the silhouette of a figure approaching the doorway, slender, confident. Ava, instinct took over, and they ducked behind the door. Emma could hear Ava's voice, smooth and honeyed, as she called out for the housekeeper, her words floating through the air like an unsettling melody. What did you do with my things? They must be arranged perfectly. Tyler held her hand tightly, the warmth grounding her in the chaos. Emma closed her eyes and listened, her mind racing. This was the moment they feared, yet it also presented an unexpected opportunity. As Ava stepped into the room, Emma could see the tension in her posture, the barely concealed menace in her smile. What was this charm hiding? The girl who commanded attention and admiration was standing right there, and Emma wanted nothing more than to confront her. Maybe, she whispered to Tyler, if we just hear her out, we'll find a way to turn her game against her. What if she sees through us? Tyler replied, his voice barely audible. The uncertainty was crawling back. We have to be smart about this. We need leverage, Emma said, determination creeping back into her tone. They would play along, keep their cool, and wait for the right moment to strike. They held their breath as Ava moved about the room, distracted by the chaos she created. Emma watched her closely, eyes narrowing with suspicion, desperate to glean any information that would help them unravel the mystery. Ava began talking to herself, her every word dripping with the confidence of someone who has always gotten her way. No one can resist me, she laughed lightly, assessing a mirror, adjusting her hair as if she were taking center stage. Emma raised an eyebrow at Tyler. She obviously thinks she's invincible, she mouthed silently. Yeah, but who is she really protecting? Tyler whispered back, eyes darting to the journal still lying carelessly on the table. They couldn't ignore it forever. As Ava turned to leave, Emma caught a glimpse of panic behind her poised exterior. The way she hastily smoothed her dress, the flicker of her eyes, was there a fear lurking beneath her confident facade? Now, Emma whispered urgently. They both slipped through the door and back into the hallway. They began to tiptoe toward the exit, adrenaline swirling in their veins, but suddenly, a sound behind them made them stop in their tracks. What are you doing? Ava's voice cut through the silence like a knife. Emma felt her heart drop. They had been spotted. Run! She shouted, pushing Tyler ahead of her as they sprinted towards the door, terror fueling their escape. She could hear Ava's heels clicking against the floor, chasing behind them determined and dangerous. Would they make it out, or would Ava's grip tighten around them once more? The questions loomed as they dashed into the growing shadows of the evening, leaving their fates hanging in the balance. Emma and Tyler burst through the front door, the cool night air hitting their faces like a refreshing wave. But there was no time to breathe. They stumbled down the steps, feet pounding on the gravel path that led away from the house. "Keep going," Emma urged, her voice barely rising above the sound of her heart thudding in her chest. She dared a quick glance back, the house looming large and dark behind them. Ava was nowhere to be seen, but that didn't lessen the crackling tension in the air. "Where do we go now?" Tyler puffed, the fear evident in his wide eyes. She could have called someone. The thought sent a chill racing down Emma's spine. They couldn't linger. They had no plan, no destination, just the instinct to put as much distance between themselves and Ava as possible. "We need to find a spot to hide, somewhere safe," she managed to say between breaths, racing through the overgrown garden. They ducked behind a cluster of thick bushes, gasping and whispering as they peered out towards the house. The last thing they needed was to wait for Ava to catch up, or worse, to involve anyone else in her twisted game. "Look!" Tyler pointed out, voice shaky. Beyond the shrubs, a flickering light glowed from a small shed at the far end of the property. "Do you think we should check it out?" "That might be our best chance," Emma decided, swallowing her fear. She nodded at Tyler, and they crept toward the shed, keeping low and quiet. The closer they got, the more Emma's pulse raced. Was this place secure, or another trap waiting to snap shut? The door creaked gently as they pushed it open, revealing a dimly lit interior cluttered with old garden tools and dusty equipment. Once inside, they slammed the door shut behind them, the ancient wood shuddering in protest. "Now what?" Tyler asked, glancing around nervously. "What do we do if she finds us here?" "First, we breathe," Emma said, leaning against a wall to steady herself. "We need to think." Ava was acting strange, and there's something in the journal that gave her away. Tyler's eyes darted back to the front of the shed, unease clinging to every word. "But what can we do? What if she finds a way to keep us quiet?" "There has to be something we can use against her," Emma insisted, determination flaring within her. "We know she's hiding something. Her fear was real, remember? We need to figure out what it is." Tyler nodded slowly, still fidgeting with his hands. "Maybe we could risk going back in the house, grab that journal." "It's risky, but no." Emma interrupted, shaking her head. "That's too dangerous right now. We need more information first. If we get caught again, we won't have a chance." "But what if she plans to do something drastic?" Tyler asked, his voice rising with worry. "What if she's ready to go after someone we care about?" Her heart sank. "You mean, like your parents?" Sudden realization washed over Tyler's face. "Exactly. If Ava feels cornered, she might lash out. We can't let that happen." Emma's resolve hardened. "Then we have to discover her secret." "But how?" In the tense silence that followed, a thought struck Emma like lightning. "The party," she whispered, suddenly realizing the connection. "We could get into the party she's throwing next week. The one where she's supposed to unveil something. Wouldn't that be crawling with her people?" Tyler replied, a mix of fear and excitement in his voice. "They'll be focused on the event. We could blend in and gather information or even confront her when she's distracted." Tyler's eyes lit up with renewed hope. "That might just work. There's no way she'd expect us." As Emma nodded, determination surging through her, a new fear settled in. What if the party was bigger than they thought? What if they couldn't manage to infiltrate? And most importantly, what kind of danger awaited them if they pushed their luck? Just then, the sound of footsteps outside made both of them freeze. Emma exchanged a panicked glance with Tyler. "Is it her?" he whispered, terror lacing his voice. Emma held her breath, straining to listen. Would they finally confront Ava's secrets, or had they walked into yet another web of deceit? The footsteps grew louder, sending a wave of panic washing over Emma and Tyler. They huddled closer together, hearts racing, desperate to stay silent. Emma's mind raced through possibilities. Is it Ava? Could it be someone else entirely? What if they were caught? Suddenly, the door handle rattled, and the door creaked open slightly, casting a sliver of light into the shed. Emma barely dared to breathe as she pressed herself against the cold, rough wall. The silhouette of a figure stood just outside, a shadow against the flickering light outside. What if it's her? Tyler whispered, trembling. Shoo! Emma hissed, studying the figure in the doorway. A moment passed, dragging under the weight of their fear. Just then, the figure stepped fully into the light, and Emma let out a relieved breath. It was only Sam, one of Tyler's friends from the neighborhood. Emma? Tyler? He called softly, looking around as if confused. I saw you two running. What is going on? Emma and Tyler exchanged glances, momentarily torn between relief and caution. Should they trust him? Ava had eyes everywhere. Yet they didn't have time for hesitation. Sam! You have to get in here, Emma urged, waving him forward. Sam slipped inside, glancing nervously at the door before closing it behind him. What happened? You both look like you've seen a ghost, Sam said, his brow furrowed with concern. Ava is she's dangerous, Tyler explained, the words spilling out. There's something she's hiding, and we need to know what it is. We think she might be planning something at her party next week. Her party? Sam echoed, bouncing on his heels with excitement. I heard it was going to be huge. Everyone's talking about it. But why do you think it's dangerous? Emma took a deep breath, trying to unravel her thoughts. She's acting strange. She has this journal, and she's been different ever since she got it. We don't know what it says, but it scares her, and it might be linked to something serious. Tyler chimed in, his voice rising. We're trying to figure out how to infiltrate the party, blend in with everyone, collect information, maybe even confront her while she's distracted. Sam's eyes widened, the excitement of a chance for adventure mixed with urgency. That sounds insane. But if she's really a threat, we can't just stand by. Count me in. The relief that washed over Emma was fleeting. Yes, Sam would help, but it also meant dragging him into this chaos. Are you sure? It could be dangerous. Emma, I'm in, he said firmly. If something's going to happen, if Ava's plotting something, we need to stop it. As they shared their plan, Emma felt a flicker of hope growing among the three of them. They could do this together. But just as that hope began to solidify, a sudden loud bang reverberated outside, rattling the shed. They all froze, eyes wide. Sam's face turned pale. Was that something from the house? He whispered, through the thin walls, they could hear muffled voices, rising and falling in agitation. Emma's throat went dry. We need to act now, she said, fire igniting within her chest. What if they're coming for us? If they know we're here? Should we go out the back? Tyler suggested, gesturing to a grimy window in the corner. But what if we run right into them? Emma countered, clenching her fists. Options spun in her mind, but every path seemed fraught with danger. With the footsteps outside now clearly getting closer, Emma's heart raced again. What are they planning? What if this is just the beginning of something much worse? As they worked to devise their next steps, the uncertainty loomed over them like a thick fog. Would they be able to get to the party and confront Ava before it was too late? The sound of footsteps inched closer still, and Emma's breath hitched. It was time to decide. Escape or stay put? Each decision could lead them deeper into trouble. What awaited them outside could either be their salvation or the start of a nightmare. Emma, Tyler, and Sam huddled behind the shed, hearts pounding like war drums in their chests. The sound of footsteps pressed closer, echoing through the now still night air. Silence blanketed them, wrapping around their fear, creating a cocoon of tension. What do we do? Sam whispered, eyes darting toward the window as shadows flickered by. Emma's mind raced with possibilities, fighting the urge to panic. We need to get to the party, she declared, voice steady despite the turmoil inside. We need to uncover the truth about Ava, and we can't let her know we're onto her. But what if she's watching? Tyler murmured, worry etched deep into his brow. We can't let fear control us. Emma insisted, adrenaline buoyed by her rising determination. This is bigger than us now. We owe it to Lily, and to ourselves. Just as the footsteps retreated slightly, a voice called out from the shadows, a familiar yet menacing tone. You think you can hide, don't you? It was Ava. The voice echoed like a warning bell, and Emma felt cold dread coil in her stomach. Now! Emma shouted, shooting toward the back of the shed, pulling Sam and Tyler with her. They stumbled out, hearts racing, feet pounding across the gravel as they sprinted for the tree-line that bordered Ava's property. They weaved through the trees, the branches snapping underfoot, breaths heavy with both fear and relief as they got farther away from the imminent danger. Emma could feel that flicker of hope lighting a fire in her chest. They were moving toward the truth, under the cover of night. They navigated toward the party where Ava was set to reveal something significant. With the thrill of the unknown propelling them forward, they approached the grand estate decorated with twinkling lights that glimmered like stars caught in a web of extravagance. I see the entrance, Sam breathed, his excitement tinged with nervousness. Now, how do we blend in? Emma paused, scanning the crowd. The air buzzed with laughter and chatter, a beautiful facade masking the chaos hidden beneath. Act natural. We're friends crashing a party just like any other. As they drew closer to the entrance, they adjusted their clothes, smoothing down rumpled shirts and running fingers through tousled hair. Emma could feel her determination solidify. This was their chance to pierce the veil Ava had woven around herself. Inside, the atmosphere pulsed with energy. Emma caught snippets of conversation, laughter spiraling, but her focus remained unwavering. She noticed Ava mingling at the center, a radiant figure flanked by admirers, her gleaming smile masking a potential storm beneath. Let us split up, Emma instructed, trying to keep her voice steady. Tyler, you check the upstairs. Sam, you stay with me. We'll see what we can gather here. The plan hung in the air with electricity, an unspoken bond of courage and commitment passing between them. They started weaving through the crowd, Emma feeling the intensity of the moment swelling within her. Then, suddenly, it happened. Ava's gaze landed on her, piercing and intentional, as if she saw through Emma's facade. The girl took a step closer, the energy in the air shifting like the tide. Emma, darling. So glad you could make it. Ava's voice dripped with saccharine sweetness, but Emma felt the chill in her spine. Just thought we'd join the fun, Emma replied, feigning a casual smile while scanning for anything out of place. Delighted, Ava said, eyes glinting with something dark and secretive. Enjoy yourself. I've been waiting for this night for a long time. She swept back into the crowd, leaving Emma standing still, the weight of her words sinking in. What was that about? Sam whispered, catching her startled expression. I think she knows we're here, Emma replied, heart racing. We have to find out her secret. We can't let this chance slip away. Moments later, as the party swirled around them, Emma pulled Sam toward a hallway leading to the back of the house, adrenaline coursing through her veins. The walls were adorned with photos, memories captured in time, memories that could hold answers. Suddenly, enough was enough. Let us check that door, Emma urged, pointing to a wooden door at the end of the hall, but just as she gripped the handle, the door swung open, and Ava stood on the other side, her expression dark and calculating. The crowd faded away, the noise dissolving into quiet as if the world had held its breath. Did you really think you could sneak around here? Ava's voice dripped with mockery. You're meddling in affairs that are far beyond you, Emma. Emma swallowed hard. We know something's wrong, Ava. We're not leaving until we get to the bottom of this. Ava's features tightened, her eyes narrowing. You're crossing a line you'll regret. I've worked too hard to build my empire, don't ruin it because of your misplaced loyalty. You think we're scared of you? Tyler's voice sliced through the tension behind Emma, now fully behind her. Courage emblazed in their eyes. Ava laughed, but it lacked warmth. You should be. You're standing in a storm you can't control. At that moment, the walls seemed to close in, the chilling realization that they had awakened a beast. But Emma felt a fierce resolve blossom inside her chest. No more games, Ava. It's time for the truth to come out. With fire flickering in her eyes, she stepped forward, unyielding. The line in the sand had been drawn, and she wouldn't back down. Everything hung in the balance: freedom, friendship, and the power dynamics Ava had manipulated for too long. They were on the cusp of a confrontation that would either shatter Ava's empire or bury it deeper beneath lies. What are you going to do? Ava taunted, eyes flickering with defiance but a hint of something else: fear. Emma squared her shoulders. They were ready. We're going to expose you. Whatever you're hiding, it ends now. And we'll find the truth. The tension came crashing down as they braced themselves for a real battle, not just of words but of wills. The truth would come out, and nothing would silence that chorus. Then everything exploded into a frenzy when Ava made a move, setting off the initial volley in their battle. But Emma, Tyler, and Sam stood united, ready to fight for the truth whatever the cost. As the storm brewed, Emma knew they couldn't back down, and she felt an unshakable clarity. It was more than just a fight against Ava, it was a fight for themselves, their futures, and the hidden light left by Lily's memory. And with that certainty, they charged into the heart of the conflict, ready to transform fear into fortitude, leaving forgiveness as their guiding star. Their hopes hung on the horizon. Could they turn the tide? Would they emerge victorious, or would they be swept away in the chaos? The night was alive with resolve as the battle for truth began, and so they took the leap. If you're feeling inspired by this journey of courage and self-discovery, now's your chance to join our community. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will light up your world. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep the dreams alive. Comment below your thoughts on this transformation, how it moved you, and what you think will happen next. And don't wait not even one more second to share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful message. You need to show your support. Join this amazing journey with us, and let us uplift each other together.